Did you know, Nuria? And I can't believe that Muslims actually missed out on this. Muhammad Ali became a famous Muslim convert, and then we heard Neil deGrasse, not Neil deGrasse, Neil Armstrong became a Muslim because he heard the
Yeah,
call to prayer.
from the
And over
moon.
the years, yeah, and over the years, we've seen so many Westerners convert to Islam. We've heard it. Yes, half of them is not even true, but it's just whatever, whatever's in fashion. Um, but they missed out on this one. Sean Connery, he actually converted to Islam, and here, yeah, I'm serious.
Okay.
I just don't know why we
The
never.
same way
heard
Michael
about it.
Jackson converted to Islam, but now probably they would not want to associate with that as well. Anyone who potentially is famous and converts to Islam is like poster boy. But come on, where's
Yeah.
the proof? Show me the evidence.
No, look, he is talking about one of the strongest tenets of Islam with so much love and understanding, and it's like as though this is the right thing. Just have a look.
Conviction,
You'll be
yeah?
shocked. Yeah, with conviction. Yeah, here we go. Have a look at this one.
Playing golf with men than women.
Years ago, you did an interview, which may come back to haunt you. You know what I'm going to say, right?
No.
Okay. You said, it's not the worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with eccentric. Worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with eccentric fist. It's better to do it with an open hand. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No, not at all.
You think it's good to slap a woman?
No, I don't think it's good. I think
it's bad.
I don't think it's that bad. I think that it depends entirely on the circumstances and if it merits it.
Merit it.
Well, if you have.
When is it ever merited?
And women are pretty good at this. They can't leave it alone. They don't want to have the last word, and you give them the last word, but they're not happy with the last word. They want to say it again, and get into a really provocative situation. Then I think it's absolutely right.
To give her a good slap.
What?
What if she gives you a good slap back?
Yes. What if?
I mean, then maybe she's going to like it, and then it becomes something else. I don't know. But, no, I think that it's the last resort. He's not going to do it because he wants to do it. Huh?
See, gaslighting. It's the last resort. Is that what Muslims say in the Quranic verse? They say it's the last resort. As a last resort, you have to first, take these steps. So this one, he's got his own sets, but hang on.
It's merited and it's the last resort. Yeah.
And he said, not the punch, as the Muslim clerics say, because that would, don't hit the face, or he's going to leave a bruise or something. They said lightly beat, just or depending on what kind of.
Yeah, as light as a yeah. Because that's going to really discipline.
Yeah.
But listen, it's like he's been possessed with Muhammad's soul. Let's just go by Muslim logic. That is literally modern day Muhammad speaking.
Yeah, but that also tells us. But that also tells us that even in the West, when we think that domestic violence, we see anti-domestic violence billboards, commercials everywhere, but we hear damning reports that how common domestic violence is even in the Western countries. So that shows that, hang on a second, just 20 years ago or 30 years ago, this must have been done in the 90s or maybe late 80s, I don't know, but 90s maybe. So just 30 years ago, you had celebrities that could actually say these things out in the open.
Yeah.
So would you be surprised that, because I remember now, there was this commercial in Australia, Australian TV, that just showed a guy gets a call from his girlfriend or a wife, and he's with his friends at a pub, and he just starts abusing her on the phone. And then all the friends feel a bit uneasy, but don't say anything. So the commercial says that it all starts with words, meaning violence. And it says that if you see something, just say it, tell him this is not good. Because these are the attitudes. Again, we might even now think that, domestic violence, these uncultured people or whatever. But when we do see cases of domestic violence, a lot of people look the other way. I don't want to get involved. And this is a very Islamic value that, it's between husband and wife. Don't get involved.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely a cultural issue, especially from this, from South Asia. for sure it's like, oh, don't hang your dirty laundry in public, like deal with it, put up with whatever's going on, and definitely like keep it behind closed doors. And a lot of the time, like that article we read like months ago now, but it's like they always just say to the woman, be patient. And the second way to fix the situation is to have a baby with that person, and suddenly he'll change. I don't know why that's the advice that they're given. Like, it's like literally saying that something is terrible and not working and toxic, and you're saying, oh, add something even more complicated into the mix and that will solve all your problems, which is the complete opposite of what they should do in most situations. But yeah, and like even with domestic violence, you'd be surprised how many people don't understand what it entails. For example, the fact that like if somebody is just depriving someone of money or controlling their behaviors and checking their phone and seeing who they talk to, a lot of women don't think that they can use the term domestic violence unless they have bruises and like marks all over them. But that's not the case. Like, coercive and controlling behavior in itself constitutes domestic violence. Abuse, technological abuse is a new area we're seeing a lot, where, you know, perpetrators are putting like trackers on their wives or girlfriends' cars, and they're basically tracking their geotagging location from their phone as well. And like just all of these things with the banks and all of this with online banking as well on the rise, you know, they can just really mess around with the cards. So even that, you have to explain to women that technological abuse is also a form of domestic violence, as is verbal abuse, as is emotional abuse, as is tech abuse, and as is physical violence as well. So it's a massive umbrella term. Well, you know, you'd be surprised as well. Again, a lot of women say that who have gone through this say that
by the way, just
bruises and the cuts actually don't feel as bad as some of the emotional abuse that they have faced, and the psychological like ramifications of that, and how much harder that is to kind of work through afterwards.
So have a listen to her response, because obviously her being a woman, and obviously independent woman at that point as well. So there obviously a lot of women back. If you actually see some of the commercials from 1950s and 60s, ABC, Australian Broadcast Corporation, now on Instagram page, it's our BBC basically. It's very high level journalism reporting. They now play flashbacks from 40s and 50s. Like, they're just asking people on the street their thoughts about multiculturalism, which you don't want to know. Back in the 50s. And you got to remember, I think only in 1945 or 35, I think 45, Australian women were allowed to go to a beach unaccompanied. So,
wow.
So yeah, exactly. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That is,
in some cases, you're like, what the? So we take this for granted because we're born in certain time.
Yeah,
think,
but 100 years ago, things were very different. Yeah.
Forget about 100. But look at this, even 30 years ago. This guy is saying this on TV. But so have a look at her response, because she's obviously not happy. But you know, maybe the cancel culture was the need of the hour. I'm not, you know, like I'm not favoring it, but I'm just saying there was always a desire for people how to put a sock in these people's mouths. You know, like have a listen to this.
Do it. Huh?
Wait till people see this interview. You're going to get mail.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sean Connery, and so this is why if we look at it, and when a lot of Muslim apologists say, "Oh, there's so much domestic violence in the West as well," and we don't shy away from it, but domestic violence is still a very recent problem, and it's been carrying on for centuries. And it's only now when we see women are getting more and more independent, and they are putting less and less up with this. They're not putting up with this behavior. So I think as a result, I think men are evolving too, and I think they will keep evolving. I mean, if we look at it, in Pakistan, the school that I went to, we used to get caned, but now same schools is like in proper school. I actually didn't get beat up a lot, maybe 2 or 3 times.
It's like the schools here in the Victorian times where they like whip their hand and leave proper marks. Yeah. Yeah. And that thing where there's like a humiliation thing where you stand on a stool in the corner of the class or something as well. They used to have
face the other way. And face the wall.
Yeah.
That was so embarrassing. Yeah, that was embarrassing. 'Cause we had all the like, because I went to a co-ed school, and obviously, you know, there's always a girl that you like. You don't know what to do with it, but you, you like a girl, and
And
always
next
like,
thing you're in the
damn it,
naughty corner with your face the other way.
you're so embarrassed. You're the only thing you're thinking is, what would she be thinking right now? So,
She's just staring at me, staring at this wall.
yeah, but what they do is so anyway, my point was, so beating, physically disciplining children was normal even in a third world country like Pakistan, but now those schools, like those higher level schools, not madrasas, obviously madrasas
Yeah.
are very violent,
They,
but
yeah.
those schools, teachers are not allowed to touch them. So you know, that's the it can change. So people who are skeptical, you know, the change is always around the corner.
People that are skeptical, listen to Steven Pinker. He does give us hope for the world. He doesn't take such a doomsday approach to like where everything is headed, saying humans have never been better than what we are today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
true.
it Borat doesn't seem ridiculous now? Yeah,
True.
I mean, this is exactly what Borat satirized. You know,
Yeah.
this is what he was saying. Yeah, we beat up our wives, but he's saying that. Sean Connery is saying that in a serious interview. So.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.